So we're gonna start on this, but we're gonna start on this.
The office.
14. Gotta take the wiper cowl off and stuff. I probably don't have to, but it sure seems a lot easier to get to it. It's underneath here. Sometimes you gotta take the brake master out of the way just to do them too, but we'll see. I'm gonna try not to do any of that crazy stuff.
I like them, but I don't like that. You have a mouse for 3 minutes away. No one here is late.
Alright, this came off because it wasn't plugged in or anything. It's probably been off a few times. With you saw the mileage on this the other day when I looked at it, 370,000 miles. There's a bunch of 10s. I believe you got to take this out because they hid some bolts underneath it. Plus it kind of hooks in there. And then you take these 10s out and you'll be able to see everything a lot better in that corner. Also, this is glass right here. L plus F left hand, kind of all folds and stuff. That's what we're changing. So that was the motor I was clicking on the other day with the screwdriver. I think it was yesterday, day before maybe. Today's what, Thursday? Yeah. Whew. The week is flying by. This bracket, I'm going to take this reservoir and kind of move it out of my way. I'll probably suck all the brake fluid out of there because otherwise it's going to leak out. And it should be closer to it. I didn't take the brake fluid out yet. I'm just anxious to get a closer look. My brake flushing tool doubles as a brake fluid evacuator. I'm going to minimize the mess here, so I'm going to do that. It'll still make a mess, just not as bad. Now I'm thinking I can sneak this out. The last time I did one, pretty sure that's what I did, but it's been a while, so I'm a little fuzzy. Alright now, don't make me get the big tools, you'll be sorry. You gotta give it a turn or two, get it to unseat. Now maybe it'll come off. It's bad enough with the wiper blade deal. Now I can't get a hose off. You have to call in an expert. There you go. I don't know what I'm gonna learn. If you're asking nice, it's not gonna happen. Now I gotta take this bracket out of the way just to get my mitts in there a little better. Don't be like that, man. Squeeze that, pull that out of there. A couple of electrical connectors, brake line back here. Wasn't really that tight, but once that's off, there's a couple of mounting bolts and these rubber bushings. I got the nut off of that one already. I don't remember if you have to turn that nut after you take the 10mm nut off. You might have to turn that large nut. I don't remember if it's just a washer. Gotta figure that out. Shouldn't be too bad though. And there's a little 10 on the bracket that this red coated brake line is. It shows you that it's a particular brake line. It has to be from the accumulator to the booster. The accumulator and motor power the booster. And they call this thing the booster, though there's not much to it. It has the module on it and the master cylinder. Kind Kind of strange how they do it all, but they know way more than me about it. I know that much. Let's see if I can get this 10 out of here. Maybe with the box end. Ooh, that was tight. So that'll go. And I think there's a second one of these in the back. That's the fun one. I think that's the one they really make you work for. This is the hard bolt back here. So I pulled this little wiring harness out of the bracket, kind of tweaked this bracket forward. I got a pry bar holding the harness up out of my way. They tell you to take this all off, take the lower cross member off. It's a whole bunch of craziness. And I've done them before without doing that, so I'm going to try it again. After this nut's off of here, this little ratchet wrench is the only way. I get it to where I can turn it with my finger. Unfortunately, my pry bar holding this harness up a little bit is also pushing down on this, which is putting a load on the nut. But once I get it pretty loose, I can get the pry bar out of there and get my two little fingertips on it like that. And it saves about 3 hours worth of work. So you put up with the aggravation if you can get it to work.
Make it work.
This is actually the easy part. Putting it back on is fun. Because the ratchet wrench won't ratchet without it on the threads pretty good. So, let's see now. And you kind of need to pull that harness out of the way, but not block it from getting your hand in there. That's the fun part. But I'm trying to think last time if I took these brackets off and did something to pull this harness up, give me a little more room. I might have done that. I think to go back together, I definitely will have to. Oh boy, it's close. See it down there? It's about a half a turn from falling, and I don't want that to happen. Well, I'll find it, but why go through the trouble? Got that pry bar a little further back now. Let's see if we can get this to go. Oh, look at that. Ooh, doggy. And there's a little insert in there too. It's like a cup on the bracket. Get that insert out of there. At least I think I can. I might have a little bit of a load on the pump motors, the pump actuator, because that's what I'm using to hold the harness out of the way. Hose pick, do your magic. Now I might be able to get it. Show you what this thing looks like in a second here. This is what I'm messing with. That gray rubber bushing is an insulator, so those motors don't vibrate into the car. So definitely got to go back. It's definitely got to go back. You definitely don't want to lose it. Otherwise you get real. Nobody likes that. Then it ends up being like a Jeep Compass or a Nissan Versa. Oh, I see. There's a bushing on it too. It's crazy. That's the magic monster. You got to pry this one back off a stud in the back of that bracket. That's what you got to do to avoid taking all the lower suspension cross member and all that stuff off. Got a new bushing in the new pump. Got to get it down in that pin. You see that bracket in the back tweaked out of the way a little bit? Yeah, that's all part of the deal. Now, getting this back in, gotta go over that tab that the wiring harness was held by. The problem is you're putting your hand in there to manipulate it, and you can't see where you need to manipulate it to because there's no room. You're really supposed to take this master cylinder out of the way and do a whole bunch of other stuff. But it'll be 2.5 hours. That's a little aggravating rather than 6 hours. That's a little easier. That's the flat rate world. Now if I'm on the bushing back there, I can't lift this up. I push it forward into these bracket holes, and it should peek out the back. I don't know if you can see that down there, but that's nice. It's critical because if it's not in there, it's going to be touching metal when it runs the motor. Then you'll be doing it over. First thing I'm going to do before I tighten any of these bolts, get this line started, because that's the critical deal. Getting these mount bolts, that's nowhere near as critical as threading this fine thread fitting it. And this bracket has a bolt in it too that goes to the back of the pump. We're going back together, but we're gonna have this thing done by 10:30. Okay, I get the front bushing and nut is in, the rear bushing is in. Now the fun. I gotta get this nut in there. And I got my line tightened up. I'm gonna have to bleed this, obviously. That line's gonna pump air into here. So what I could also do probably is leave this line a little loose and get most of the air out by hooking this hose up to the reservoir and filling that, but everything's kind of in the way. It's easier just to bleed it. So we'll do a brake flush at the wheels afterwards, and that'll help get all the air out. We might have to activate the ABS with the scan tool to get that to cycle air out too. We'll see. Sometimes you get a pedal real easy and you don't have to do it. Sometimes you do. We'll see if we can avoid cursing and screaming. We'll see if we can avoid noisy backgrounds and cursing and screaming and get this on here. I don't know. Oh, could it be that easy? I'm not going to time lapse that or anything. That was live television, ladies and gentlemen. It is on there. Yay! Electrical connectors, everything's back in their little holders. What's next? I got a bracket right here. Look at that. Look at that thing. They got some effort in this. I just got to figure out how it goes. I think it goes like that. Yeah, this wire harness clip goes here. That's where that goes. Alright, I got my harness bolted back up. Got my clamp on there. Just gotta take off my clamper. It's a cute little thing, isn't it? Got some brake fluid and brake cleaner on. I've been made a little mess putting that line on. Now that's right, this goes to the wiper cowl. Electrical plug for the fuel fluid level sensor. That was 2 14s. Now people might say it's overkill, but I prefer to be organized. It makes it easier to get things done and not forget. So all my bolts are in order. I am definitely going to try to bleed this before I put the wiper cowl on. The bleeder fitting here might be a huge help. I tighten these up before I move on. This can go back on here. It does take dot 3. Let's loosen this bleeder here and see if this thing will gravity bleed some air out of it for us. I'm not going to make you wait with me the whole time. When it starts percolating, I'll bring you back in for the big show. The motor ran a bit. The fluid level went down about that far. I'm gonna have to go in and push on the brake, I think. Maybe get my my gravity vacuum bleed tool, and we will try to get the rest of the air out of this thing, get a good pedal. The wiper cowl goes on in about 15 minutes. It's not really hard. Just a bunch of 10s and 2 wiper arms. And that wiring harness. So, I'm surprised there isn't a little fluid coming out here just yet. Some stuff is happening. Got my body fill thingamajig on there, or reservoir fill, what do you want to call it? The thing that holds the fluid and keeps the fluid from running out in the reservoir. That's it. So we're going to lift it up. I'm going to start bleeding. I'll bleed all 4 wheels. Probably about, 4 or 5 minutes a wheel. See what kind of pedal we got after that. Sometimes you got to tinker with them a little bit, and sometimes easy. Getting pretty solid fluid right now. Eventually, all of a sudden, I'll start to get some air, and then we'll get solid fluid again. We're getting some air. It might be worth letting it down to try and see if I can get all the air out of one wheel, because it'll pull air from that one line through whatever line I'm bleeding, right? Maybe we'll try that. Nope, checking over my paperwork. We wanted a brake flush. So we'll do all 4 wheels. Then hopefully we'll have a good pedal for sure. Pedal feels good enough on this. We're going to button the wiper section up and give her a try. Now it's just a whole bunch of 10s. These are the short ones. Gotta hook that back here. This gets my long 10s.
Guys, have a great Christmas, okay?
You too, man. I'm not going to make you wait while I tighten these bolts. I'm just going to tighten them like boom. And over here. All right. Listen here, man. What the heck? It's supposed to be quick and easy showing you putting this pin in. We'll come back to it. Snap this little guy in. Now we'll try this again. All I need was a brake. Little capper doodle. Well, let's get this lift out of here. Give this thing a try. All right. Here we go. Well, I printed this out too, but yesterday, if you didn't watch yesterday's video diagnosing it, I printed out some specifications that you can measure across the terminals to see if you have an open circuit. But if you watched yesterday's video, I ended up tapping it with a long screwdriver and the motor would start up and the pressure would come back up. So I know what was wrong pretty easily. Like a starter motor, sometimes they won't crank, you tap on them. Got a good brake pedal now. Got a good brake pedal. Let's see, that's the ultimate test. Oh boy. Forward. Excellent. The power brakes actually feel a lot stronger than they were. And I'm not just saying it because I just fixed it. Cool. Look how dark the window tint is. Stay tuned. Oh, hell yeah, this thing's got some brakes. Cool. That's exciting. Every time you fix one, you're happy that not only did you make a decent living, you got somebody's car going again. And it's a win-win-win.